All right. Well, good evening. Good evening. My name is Anthony Trombley. I'm an aerospace major here at Cal Poly. So naturally, I'm going to be talking to you more about something that my major comes to agree with. I'm going to be talking about the F-15. It's a fighter jet that the United States Air Force is still employing, has employed for a long time. My argument is going to be that the F-15 Eagle is still as combat effective as more modern fighters and jets today. I'm going to be using my supporting claims are going to be that it has one of the most impressive battle records to this day, and that it's a lot less expensive than some of the aircraft that we are building and designing today. And it has an all-around capacity to fight anything from the air to the ground and anything in between. So, some terms I'm going to define before we start. The F-15 Eagle is the name of the aircraft. To help you understand what the F-15 stands for, the Air Force and actually the United States' military, F stands for what type of aircraft it is. So F stands for fighter, C would be cargo, so on and so forth. So F stands for F-15, or for fighter jet, and the 15 is basically just the model, how old it is. So smaller numbers indicate, models that were made a lot longer ago. So in my argument, F-15 Eagle refers to any of the variants that we've been using since 1969. That's when the first F-15 took to the skies in service. So, and to this day we have A through E models, just different variants, different for different missions, and there are even more variants that we've exported to different countries, but I will be referring mostly exclusively to the A through E models that we, as the United States, have employed. Combat effective, I use that in my claim. I'll restate it. The F-15 Eagle is still combat effective as more modern fighter jets of today. Combat effective is basically defined as the ability to complete a given mission without unnecessary risk to anyone in the mission in theater of operations. Theater of operations is basically the airspace that whatever they're trying to complete is being done. So those are the definitions that I'll be covering. So basically, I'll give you a little bit of background on the F-15. Like I said before, it came out in 1969. The Air Force needed an air superiority fighter. Air superiority is basically just an aircraft that can fight other aircraft and maintain the security for ground forces or anything else that the military needs to do. So, yeah, it came out in 1969 because there was a competition between aerospace companies, and the F-15 won. So the controversy of this subject is that we are employing more than the F-15. There are newer models of aircraft, and we're spending taxpayers' money. So I believe that I need to clarify this controversy, so to demonstrate that something that came out in 1969 is still just as effective today as it was back then when it first came out. So some of the campaigns that the F-15 has been in has been the Balkan conflict back in the 90s. It was in both the Iraq wars, the Gulf War in 1991, and the one that we are in today. And it's still in campaigns today. Operation Iraqi Freedom, so on. It's still conducting many operations. The F-15Cs, that's the most used aircraft we have today, just a C model. It no longer is on the assembly line, but over 1,000 F-15Cs have been built. So, my first claim, the battle record is one of the best in the United States military's fleet. In the Iraqi war alone, it shot down 32 Iraqi aircraft in Operation Desert Storm, and it suffered no losses. No F-15Cs were shot down in the war. And if that is to no avail, to this day, actually, the most recent survey I could find from Aerospace Web. It is a website maintained by aerospace engineers. States that in 2006 it tallied up to 101 aerial victories with no defeats. So as you can see, it is very difficult to shoot down. It hasn't been done yet, and it has racked up many kills of its own. The F-15 is a lot less expensive than some of the aircraft we're buying today. For example, the F-22 Raptor is the most modern, most sophisticated aircraft that money can buy. However, it is a lot more expensive. These numbers I'm going to be giving, the statistics, are not to compare with the F-15, but more just to give you a, just so you can understand the economics, to have something to compare with. Just so you can, a ballpark, so you can see how much normally things are. So, for example, the F-22 today is $142 million to build one plane. Another one is the F-18. It's an aircraft used by the Navy. It is roughly about $59 million per plane to build, and so that's basically about how much an aircraft is to buy. The F-15C is a lot more economic friendly. It is $30 million to build the C model and $43 million to build the E model. The E model is more of a ground attack aircraft meant to support infantry and the Army and all so forth. The F-15 has an all-around capability to perform any type of mission, and such that it has the ability to carry many weapons, bombs, guided, unguided. It can carry long-range missiles. It can fire a missile from 43 miles away, way beyond the visual range that our eyes can see. So it can attack and destroy an aircraft without the aircraft even knowing that it was there. It also is very good at close air support, as in it can fight aircraft that are within 15 feet if need be. So it is very versatile in air combat, and as I said before, it has many weapons and guided bombs and other ordnance that can use to destroy anything on the ground. So in conclusion, I stated that the F-15 is very combat capable today because it has a very impressive battle record that is surpassed only by the P-51 Mustang from World War II. Nothing to this day has surpassed that. That is a lot more economic friendly, it's less expensive, and that it has an all-around capability to perform any mission that is needed. Thank you.
All right, well, the claims clearly stated at the beginning. You do organize it while you're talking. I think you need to spend a little bit more time on the controversy. You define a lot of issues, but what's in dispute? Are there people who are suggesting that newer planes be utilized, or that the F-15 be mothballed, or something along those lines? If it's been used for 40-plus years, as you've described, and we don't have any complaints about it, what is it that anybody's arguing about here? You kind of minimize the comparison at one point that you make to the F-22 later on, but I think the comparison is where there might be some grounds for argument on this. You go 3 minutes and 45 seconds before you actually get to your first point. There's a lot of background information that you're providing. And it's 8 minutes and 14 seconds, so you're more than 2 minutes over time. You need to do some editing. You're describing a lot of stuff, but it's not always stuff that's important. I'm sorry, it's not always stuff that's important.